15. Barb had to admit to feeling a tingle. She'd been crazy about Tom back then. But still, you can't go home again. Then she realized she was trying. She reached the top of the landing. You need a break? No, I'm fine. Get her done. You sure you want to be at the bottom? I think the bottom is harder. Barb flashed on her first day at college. They'd gone to the University of Delaware with many of their classmates, since Megan's run was close to the state line. You know, I think we had this same conversation when we moved into the dorm, remember? Are you kidding? I don't remember yesterday, much less the first day of college. Let's go. Barb edged backward, and the mattress curved in the narrow staircase, then got wedged against the banister. Oh, no, it's stuck. Damn. Sharon stopped, wiping her brow. Just shove it hard around the corner. I knew you were going to say that. Barb muscled the mattress around the stairwell as Sharon inched up, and together they reached the hallway on the second floor where they caught their breath. I can't believe I'm starting over at my age. What's next? Orange crates full of albums? Honey, you can start over at any age. And you got rid of bad rubbish. That's true. Barb tried not to second-guess herself, but it came second nature. I should never have married him in the first place. You loved him. I was blind. Let it go, girl. I can't. When I look at what it cost, all it cost. Barb sighed heavily, and the hallway felt tight, warm, and vaguely claustrophobic. Go. Move. Got it. Barb slid the mattress toward the spare room, and Sharon pushed from behind. They passed the family photos on the wall, which were few, since Barb hung only those with her and Kyle. You landed on your feet, and you did the right thing. That matters most of all. Remind me, so I feel good about myself? You blew the whistle on your sleazoid husband. I should have known it earlier. You couldn't have. You hid it from everybody. Give yourself some credit, please. I can't. Barb shuddered to remember that night, the beginning of the end. Brian had been working late so often that she suspected he was having an affair. It wasn't like him, but she'd felt him pulling away from her, spending more time at the hospital. He was a pediatric oncologist, and she understood that he was dedicated to his cases. He always brought the work home, withdrawn when he'd lose a patient. But their sex life had tapered off, even from married people levels. So one night when Brian said he was working late, Barb had driven to the hospital and gone upstairs to the pediatric oncology floor. It had been after visiting hours, and Barb had beelined for the nurse's station, staffed by a nurse she knew, Sandy, who looked up from her computer. Hey, Sandy, Barb had whispered. Is Brian here? I want to surprise him. I have some great news. Yes? Sandy's eyes had flared with excitement. What's the surprise? Can you tell me? Not before I tell him. Are you the only nurse on duty? No, Cheryl and Bob are both on. You know Bob, but not Cheryl. She's new, young. Bob's showing her the ropes. I see. Barb had suspected that Brian was showing Cheryl the ropes. Just tell me, you're not pregnant, are you? Are you insane? Barb had whispered, and they'd laughed. I think they're down the hall in 301. It's a little girl with spleen cancer, a 2-year-old. The mom went downstairs for a coffee. Thanks. Barb had headed down the hall, bracing herself to catch him with the young nurse. She'd hoped they could go to therapy and work it out. She hadn't wanted to break up their family. And she'd had to admit, she still loved him. Barb had walked down the hallway, passing rooms 307, 305, and 303. The door to 301 had been closed, but she'd cracked it open, peeking inside. It had been too dark to see what was going on, since the only light on was over the child's crib. Barb's eyes had adjusted to the semi-darkness, but there was no young nurse in the room, nor was Bob. Brian had been leaning over the crib, with the railing down. The toddler had been sound asleep, her head to one side, with tape holding her oxygen tube onto her tiny cheek. Brian had been whispering in her ear, and Barb had felt touched until she realized that the toddler's diaper was off, and Brian's hand was between the little girl's legs.